Hey guys, welcome back. Thanks for tuning back in. Guys, do you catch yourselves a lot looking at old messages? Watching old videos of you guys cutting up, having a good time? You know, those videos that you thought you deleted? Or maybe those that you didn't. Guys, do you catch yourself a lot replaying old memories? Maybe, a part of you wishes that you could have that for another day, or maybe 5 more minutes. Have you ever texted her randomly, right? Unblocked her? Or do you find yourself wanting to do that? Listen, boys, there's a reason for why it seems like you just can't move on, right? You know, a lot of men grow up today with no identity, none at all. In a time where society has beat fathers out of the home so badly that men have no direction at all in life, we have failed men stupendously, right? And boys, you have to understand too that society deems a man valuable or not. That's the way it's always been. That's the way it's always going to be, right? So, if you as a man don't bring anything to society that it deems valuable, you're not cared about. It is what it is. And so, when men grow up, right, with no direction, with no guidance on what makes a man, it's easy for that man to develop some kind of identity in something else or someone else. Oftentimes that's women, right? And for those who started to figure it out and they started to develop identity in themselves, they oftentimes also give that identity away for a woman. And listen, boys, this is the reason why it seems like you can't move on. You gave up who you are, right? Or you looked for it in someone else. And listen, guys, you can't find yourself in someone else. That's the whole point of being a man, right? It's making yourself. It's really unfortunate that most men don't have role models today. A lot of people had Arnold Schwarzenegger back in the day. Maybe they had a WWE wrestler that they looked up to, that they wanted to model themselves after. There was someone, right, perhaps a decade or two ago that, someone deemed as worthy enough, right, to model themselves after what they thought, a man was. Because it's not really fathers anymore, unfortunately. Fathers have been forced out of the home and really left the sons to try and figure it out themselves, or left them to the mother's devices, and oftentimes that does a lot worse. So, you wander around aimlessly. And we all know the stories, man. We all know the stories. Guys getting screwed over in court, losing the kids, and sometimes the ultimate thing. Then it's an identity crisis. It really is. A lot of guys, 15 years into marriage, right, and they know something's wrong. Right? And they're just still figuring out who they are. Whether the marriage blows up or not, you know, we've been failed, man. We've been failed. And so you get attached, right? Because that's who you think you are, as someone who is a father, someone who is a husband, right? Someone who's a boyfriend, someone that you are for someone else instead of who you are for you, right? Are you a painter? You know, are you a musician? Are you an athlete? You know, who are you for you? Not who are you for someone else. And it's that hard balance, you know, that we find ourselves struggling with. You know, it's a struggle, man. It really is. Why? Because you have to do something for society. You have to. It's just the way that it is, right? But at the same time, it starts with doing something for yourself. You know? Find a passion that you honestly enjoy, right? This is one of my passions that I love doing. I love talking with you guys and helping you guys through whatever shit you're going through. Because like I've said before, where one benefits, we all benefit, you know? And listen, boys, it wasn't too long ago that I was in the same boat. You know, I was looking at old messages, old videos, right? But I had to realize that wasn't me, you know? That wasn't who I was meant to be. Because it wasn't working, you know? What I was doing was ultimately destroying destroying me. So, what do? You know? Well, you have those hard conversations with yourself. And no, it's not when you get to the bottom of the bottle. It's not it. Right? But you sit as sober as you can, right? And you have a hard conversation with yourself on who you are. Oftentimes when we hit rock bottom, we find out who we are. And unfortunately today, a lot of it has to deal with a woman. You know, like I mentioned, you know, the guys that are in marriages 15 years and they're having a identity crisis, you know, whether it's because the marriage blew up or not, you know. Maybe she's not as intimate as she was when the marriage started, or before the marriage started, you know. Either way, the identity isn't there. Not for you. Right? You find someone else in you that's not you. You know? And in a society today where we're always talking about our feelings, right? We're taught to be feminine, actually. You know? And think about this, guys. How many conversations have you had with people, right? And when they say something, right? When they start speaking an opinion, right? They start off with, "I feel like." You know? All the more evidence right there that shows, right, that we have no identity as men, right? And oftentimes when we show that identity, right, we start looking for masculinity, it gets beaten down, right? So, you know, it's this toxic environment, right, that obviously doesn't appreciate men, right? It doesn't cultivate actual identity in men. It also destroys identity in women too, right? But I'll get to that in a different video. you look for ways to find yourself, right? After you've had those hard conversations and you start to find out who you are, right? I mentioned passions. You can build skills off of those passions. You can. You know, it's going to be a process. Could take years, you know. But ultimately, this is a process that you have to go through to heal, you know, and be a better man. But this time, be a better man for you, right? Not for the next woman that comes along. So, you know, and I also saw these things happen too, you know, with a former friend of mine. You know, he would look back through messages, videos. Oftentimes, you know, he would think about her and wish that things were back the way that they were, you know. And it's because that identity was in both of them, right? It wasn't because he had identity in himself. But, you know, then again, when you don't have any direction, it's very easy for you to fall into that. And, you know, we could definitely argue that it's a part of the machine, you know, and it is. But again, that's for another video. But that's how you can find identity in yourself, right? You have to have these conversations with yourself, introduce yourself to yourself, and figure out who the fuck you are, right? And then start doing things for yourself. You know, it just starts there. And then, you know, step by step, day by day, right? You start to respect yourself more, right? You start to find more things about yourself that, you know, that you're good at, you know? It's what led to one of my other videos, you know? Find the good in life, the joy in life, right? Be alone for a while. Learn to love yourself. Learn to be okay with yourself, right? You know, oftentimes as well, you know, we don't love ourselves. We only love ourselves when someone loves us, someone else loves us. And that's also by design too, you know, because of, you know, girl power. Well, for us men. But, you know, boys, that's pretty much it. You know, that's why, you know, it seems hard to move on, because you lost that identity, or you never really had it to begin with, but you placed it in someone else, right? So now you have to find that identity in yourself, right? Introduce yourself to who you are, learn who you are, and grow, right? Always remember that society is going to deem you valuable or not because of what you bring, right? So learn tangible skills that you can bring to society. But you are the one that deems you valuable too, okay? Keep that in mind. Maybe someone doesn't like your drawing. Okay, cool. Fuck them. Someone will. And even if they don't, who cares? Who cares? Right? You know, maybe you're getting into welding. You know, that's something you can bring to society. You know, and it's a tangible skill that you could bring with you, right? That's something that you learned. Music too. There are people that love music. Most people do love music. And that's something you can bring to society, right? But that's also something you can do for yourself, right? Because a lot of people also heal through music. You know? So, just some ideas, boys. Take it one step at a time and keep growing from that. Also, go lift weights. Get physical. That helps immensely with mental health. 100%. Right? You can find identity in the gym too. When you begin to push yourself to your limits, you find out real quick who you are. So, that being said, boys, we're pretty much on time here. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. All right. If this helped you guys out at all, please like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And as always, boys, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. All right. I'll talk to you soon.